Minister, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Trevor.
Hi Trevor, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
We have these are paddles. They're umbrellas. They're umbrellas? Yeah.
Tulips. There are other names.
We can't see anything.
David. Sorry. Okay, right. And just explain the wall anyway, like that is a.
We walk down here. Just over the wall. Let's go down quickly. Come on. Just take you over the neck.
It's still ongoing.
He's under a lot of time pressure now.
But I know we're done now. These umbrellas now will be opened up in the summer for our festivals and come back and look. And for our rainy weather, we had a kind of a joke in Youghal, it'd be a beautiful town if we could put it under an umbrella. So therefore, that's where these kind of came from. And we hope they'll work. Now you have the boats pull in here to do the fishing trips and so on, and a number of our boats are disabled friendly as well. So this what we're looking at, Ezra, we've done a section wall there.
Oh, just on the upper corner.
Just happened to start, like, you know, the timing was right, but didn't it actually serve to protect the buildings down here? They just didn't get the wash as bad.
Is this the back street here?
The back street,
is this
no.
the back street here?
And this gets major.
Yeah, I've seen this flooded myself before. You're just travelling through here.
This is bad now. But what happened now the last time, like it came up the side streets, all the side streets and up onto the main street as well. So even at the very least, and this isn't huge money, but it would make a huge difference. At the very least, we won't have the money to continue for much longer doing that, those walls. But a simple thing like these walls, if there was money found, we could actually very quickly and very, you know, you'd have a very quick solution with not huge money being paid out.
But something like that might be amenable to a minor work scheme. You know, if the council were prepared to put an engineering back into a proposal like that.
But under minor works, so you want more than €5,000?
No, I'm talking about
it's 500,000.
Yeah, okay.
Our minor works.
Okay, okay.
But it needs to be prepared by an engineer in the county council who says, if we do this work, it will have X amount of benefit. It's very much dependent on it being cost beneficial. We have received applications from some local authorities where they just bang them in, right, effectively, so that they can blame the upbuilding for not getting the money. But we're not going to give anybody money if they're not cost beneficial. So they have to receive an engineering background and assessment.
Yeah, it has to be.
Is it the likes of Niall O'Mahony now in Cork County Council?
Somebody like Niall O'Mahony, he's in any vested Skibbereen.
He would know what we need.
We'd have a good idea. It needs to be put together by an engineer that, you know, can say if we do this work, it will have some benefit and it will protect X number of houses.
But even Ezra, you can see this. This isn't just houses. This is businesses. And it's the main
whole
town. You can see it. You can see it firsthand like that.
What our minor works scheme is for is to deliver protection for houses and properties. Really, is what it's primarily aimed at. It's not aimed at things like amenity, things like that. To be honest with you, you know. But
it's
properties,
housing especially
you
housing.
You can see all along the back street that all the houses have been flooded, and 3 times in the 1 month that the houses have been flooded.
That's our town hall.
That's the town hall. And all the houses across the road all got flooded now as well, you know. All the houses along there, they all got flooded as well. And all the whole way up the back street.
He came down one lane where he came down as well. But the water was all the way up to the top. It was, yeah. It was, and it was went up to the main street. So where we came, our courthouse, you see the building there? Just that was actually, it was knee high. It was knee high. You couldn't even see the seats or the flower beds. And the big thing then, like that, even people forget the night that you only have that much water. Yeah. Forget the manhole cups are all going to lift. Yeah. So then, now in fairness, our emergency services were there. They were watching to make sure that nobody was going to be wandering around like that. Yeah. But the whole thing like that, it's the cleaning up afterwards, like that. You know, the businesses in fairness, and a lot of the residents too, they're very switched on like that. They have their flood protection. And the council in fairness, they had all the bags ready. Yeah. They were delivering bags for 2 or 3 days leading up to it. So it was we were very proactive. Something else years ago, we knew it was happening and we were able to get to the people. And the services, the emergency services were unbelievable because for elderly people that live in the back street that have lived there for generations, they felt comforted that there was somebody there by night, early morning. This is 6, 7 in the morning, it's dark. You know, so
but as I said to the other day, Minister, that even though they had the flood barriers up, there was actually a house across the way that the water went through the brick. So they had to get
That's a very important point. Yeah. Minister, in your meetings last night, you mentioned possibly we could include the minor work scheme individual property protection. Because I was going to mention, I'm aware from just driving, I'm not very familiar with Youghal, but I'm familiar with the reports I get from the county councils that the people have a very proactive attitude here. They've got their own individual property protection.
They're all out
the
in
little
force
flood
as
barriers
well,
and things like that. Now, we could possibly fund some provision of individual property protection if the council engineers assess that particular properties were suitable. Because, like this lady has just mentioned, it's a very good example that they're not suitable for all properties, because sometimes the walls or the subfloors leak, and the barrier at the door isn't really any good.
We discussed it last night. There might be smaller things we can do while waiting for the bigger capital scheme to assist people, either on a pumping system or some kind of, the barriers we've installed, the actual physical barriers that can be removed.
They'd be like little development barriers in the door. That's individual.
We have a lot of those now. Most of the properties here have
Is
those.
there a possibility that, you know, the way that we'd have, say, Wheaton and Tira do the community alert and they have the little wristbands and so on. Is there any possibility that we could actually, the barriers are actually quite expensive. They're about, it's averaging between €500 and €800. And if you're in a situation, especially in the one section of the back street where your back door and your front door, it'll come in the back door and it'll come in the front door as well.
I think that's quite amenable to the minor works approach, because I think the benefit, if a property has flooded and if the building is structurally suitable for putting a barrier like that at the front door so that the flood doesn't come into the walls, then, you know, €800 per property wouldn't be a big deal. You know, I mean, the benefit available would be much more.
We're looking at a pilot for that in parts of Kilkenny as well. And Thomas Town.
Do we have a pilot here in Youghal?
Why not? I mean, if a realistic proposal is pushed by the local authority to us under minor works, I've no difficulty.
Actually, there's a company in
It has to be backed by an engineer in the council who has looked at the property and says, I think this property is suitable for this kind of thing, but the property that you just mentioned wouldn't be. So we can't do anything about that particular property. Okay?
It's where it would make a difference.
Yes, exactly.
Where actually, because sometimes you can pretend to people, oh, by a dimensional barrier, it's going to make a difference, and it's not because of whatever the circumstances of the house are. So, if the engineer says it actually could make a difference,
we take a view on that, and if we agree with that, we'll be happy enough to sign that off.
I could have Niall maybe speak to you as well.
You can speak to David Keane,
I'll be meeting
the county
David
engineer,
later on,
and say, listen, you know.
Did you meet with David? Was David above this morning already?
He's speaking this afternoon.
I'll meet David.
No, he wasn't there. That's Eamon Walsh,
he's
the
the
city
council.
Yeah. David is our new county engineer. Noel O'Keefe's gone to Irish Water.
The other thing you were talking about, being prepared this time.
This time, because 6 years ago, you and me were here when we flooded the first time, and we were diverting traffic up the laneways to get it away from the main street. The street was flooded, but this time everything was in place, and the early warning system, you see,
that's very much as a result of the surge forecasting system that the Office of Public Works has in place, and we communicate to the local authorities, and that allows them to get a warning out.
And as well as that, the Order of Malta, you had all the services that were there, voluntary services as well for the elderly, because as I mentioned, they're all, majority are elderly up the main back street area.
Let's see if we can advance this through
the wall is the first thing, I suppose, and then you follow that up.
With the new system coming in next year.
We're the funding agent, but it's the local authority that makes the application. We'll see if we can turn it around. I have to go now.
Ready to go? No,
listen, see you, Brian. See you next week.
Thanks
okay.
You're doing okay?
All the best.
Yeah.
We just sending the itinerary yesterday and thank you. It's always good to know, when the ministers coming into my constituency. He knows that.
I need all online as well, because I'm just
Sorry, there.
sorry.
Mention up there, Desiree. Can't do that. I need you to fix all the flooding problems.
No, we can't.
Thank you. Thanks, David.
Yeah, that's great. I'm just following you. I'm filming you.
It's your thing, David, between the pitch and post.
There's just so much, you know.
Oh, yeah.
If you want.
I wonder, excuse me.
Sorry, you're fine.
I wonder, I just think we'll say, I was over. Yes, for another day. It's just that it's possible.
Hi, Trevor.
What time did I say?
By 12. Yeah, just getting a quick. He loves Youghal. He'd love to
I'm not sure.
Just kind of, sorry, this is kind of separate.
No, sorry, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
He's gone away now, isn't he? He's gone. Sorry, just get it.
That's the other side. We have to maintain
It's a capacity issue.
there's a capacity issue there, I just like to highlight that.
I take that seriously, and Johnny says it as well.
Yeah, so that's very important.
Thanks, Ezra.
Okay.
Minister, just very quickly, if you have a look on Youghal online, it's on the web, or even YouTube, you'll see all the flooding. Just type in flooding, you'll see everything, the damage it does. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Colette.
Thank you. Yeah. Would you be able to get an email off there later on when you're talking to
An email address?
Yeah, address, please. Oh, you have one. Great. Okay.